I am sorry. Are you okay?
Podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to The Voice of the People. Let's get ready for Boxing Voice.
Every day I'm hustling, 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 hustling. Every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling.
Buffer, and you're listening to The Voice of the People.
Every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling.
BoxingVoice.com. All the guys want, I want what Mayweather got. I want what Mayweather got. You done bust your ass like Mayweather. I was trying to fight every fighter. I sacrificed a lot
Dollar DiBiase Productions
to get to where I got to.
What do you bring to the table?
Let's get this on. Let's do it.
Well, it's like this. Wait.
All right, that's it. Hold on. Bernard, everybody calm down.
Man, you know how these bitches is in the sport. Total disrespect. Kid has no class, no style at all. I sacrificed a lot.
BoxingVoice.com.
To get to where I got to.
BoxingVoice.com.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of the Boxing Voice Radio. I am your host, Nesta Gibbs, Solo, Dolo, Scarface, No Manolo. Today, we're going to be discussing Saul Canelo Alvarez is officially ending his post-Crawford silence. We're going to be breaking down the bombshell from Turkey Al-Sheikh. I got video to show you where he announces Canelo's return September 12th, 2026 in Riyadh to launch Canelo Promotions with a high-stakes Mexico against the world card. So it'll be Canelo's team versus the world. Who is going to be the surprise world title opponent? We shall see. Could it be Jaime Munguia? Could it be I didn't lose service. I'm drawing a blank. Lord, what's the guy's name that beat Edgar Berlanga? Lord, have mercy. Give me 1 second. That name is T-5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Jose Resendiz, right? There's rumors of Jose Resendiz and Jaime Munguia fighting. That's a full world title. The winner could fight Canelo, potentially. Potentially. We actually got a poll right here asking you who you think it is. Is it going to be Hamza Shiraz at 168 pounds, Turkey's favorite friend? Or is it going to be Christian Mbili, the guy that might get elevated to the WBC champion? 29% think it's Mbili. What about 24% of the public believing it's going to be David Benavidez at 175, the Mexican monster? 3% believe it could be the rematch with Bivol at 175, the champ, the king for the crown versus Bivol. Those are some options potentially for Canelo to come back to, but it is a quote-unquote surprise world title opponent. World title opponent. What does that mean? Is the opponent bringing a title? Is he title worthy? What does that mean? I don't know. But we'll also discuss the massive rumors circulating around Deontay Wilder and Alexander Usyk and the fact that they could actually draw 150,000 fans to San Francisco Civic Center Plaza this July. We're going to look at the logistics and the legitimacy of I Visit Boxing and why this could be the sport's biggest outdoor experiment ever. Plus, the welterweight shakeup with Brian Norman Jr. as I predicted correctly. Now, it's not official yet, but hey, his first stop was at Derrick James. And we'll show you the pictures of he and Derrick working out together, and I'll tell you what I can tell you from my conversations with the manager. But this is what we're going to be talking about, the return of the face of boxing, Canelo Alvarez, 63-3 losses. One at the hands of Floyd Money Mayweather, one at the hands of 175-pound king Dimitri Bivol, and the last one at the hands of retired pound-for-pound, former undisputed, three-division undisputed Terrence Bud Crawford. Canelo isn't going to be riding off into the sunset yet. After a tough loss to Terrence Crawford and elbow surgery, the Mexican legend is heading back to Riyadh for a career first, headlining under his own Canelo Promotions banner, something he's never done before. The vibe is going to be Mexican Independence Day weekend, but in the Middle East. So he has officially bowed out of Cinco de Mayo, and David Benavidez has the win. David has taken Cinco de Mayo. All he has to do now is perform properly and do it again next May. He cannot lose the grip on the date. One slip, and Canelo could sweep in and take those back again. But for Mexican Independence Day in the Middle East, the stakes will be high. A world title is on the line, but the opponent is a surprise. We don't know who it's going to be. Is he staying at 168, chasing history, going for a third undisputed at super middleweight, or is he going elsewhere looking to create more legacy? But the stakes are high. There is a title on the line. Who's that going to be? I don't know. Again, my earlier recommendation of Jose Resendiz, Jaime Munguia winner sounds about right. But Chris Mbili, he could be fighting someone or just get elevated as the WBC interim. In the WBO, Pacheco Hamza Shiraz is a fight that's being ordered. Iglesias and maybe Troy Williamson will be ordered for the IBF because I don't think Hamza's going to fight Iglesias. But options nonetheless, and a title will be on the line for the return of the Mexican superstar Canelo Alvarez. Over in the heavyweight division, will it be a cherry pick for Usyk or heavyweight history for Deontay Wilder? The quote-unquote iconic series by a new boxing player called I Visit Boxing has the world talking. Why are we talking? Because allegedly, and soon to be announced this Friday, potentially today, unless the news means next week, a July 11th showdown, 6 months away, between Alexander Usyk, the former undisputed king at both cruiserweight and heavyweight, versus Deontay Wilder, the Bronze Bomber, once perceived as the most dangerous right hand in all of boxing. They will meet center stage in San Francisco, aiming for a record-shattering 150,000 people in attendance. The matchup, a technical chess match of Usyk versus the pure eraser in the power of Wilder. The reality check, can San Francisco actually handle 150,000 fans, and does Usyk really want the Bronze Bomber next? They're allegedly going to be giving out about 135,000 tickets for this fight. This fight is being eyed to take place in the Civic Center Plaza with a mostly free crowd. They plan on doing a YouTube stream. This fight may even be streamed on YouTube. Plus, they're gonna have festival vibes, said the promoter, I Visit Boxing. Plus, free tickets. So we'll see. A new promoter led by Ed Pereira plans to unveil their quote-unquote iconic series headline and featuring an outdoor event at San Francisco Civic Center Plaza. The reports are linking the unified heavyweight champ Alexander Usyk, 24-0, 15 KOs. His last win coming over Daniel Dubois, July of 2025. Wilder is also being linked. Been inactive since the win over Hendern, but the fight aims to pit 150,000 in attendance, beating the 1941 record of 135,132 fans. Again, there's going to be mostly free tickets, YouTube stream, music festival, vibes, fan village. Now, nothing is signed. These negotiations are ongoing, but this is what we're talking about. Finally, we got the welterweight update. Former welterweight champion, WBO 147-pound former champ Brian Norman Jr., 27-1 with 1 draw, 1 loss, 21 wins by KO. Also received Knockout of the Year here on the Boxing Voice. His last fight was a loss to now welterweight champ Devin Haney. Before that, 3 great knockouts over Giovanni Stantillan, Derrick Cuevas, and Jin Sasaki. His manager and himself flew out to Dallas and had a training session with Derrick James at the world-class boxing gym in Dallas, Texas, after parting ways with his father, Brian Norman Sr. Here are some pictures from Adrian Clark himself of Derrick James instructing the welterweight former champ. Online chatter going crazy, many wondering whether or not Derrick and Brian Norman Jr. can win a world title together. Here you can see Brian Norman soaking in the tutelage of Derrick. This is the response of the father. For those that were wondering, would he take the back seat in the corner?
For the people asking the question of, will I be in the corner to some magnitude? I know that's a big question that people want to know, and they want you to ask. I will not. I will not be in the corner at all. Can you imagine me being second to somebody else? I can't. You feel me? I'm a realist. I can't play second fiddle to nobody. You can't put me in front of a dish and I'm making up a gourmet meal, and then you're gonna replace me with another chef and tell me I got to be this nigga assistant. Nah, you kiss my head. I don't do that. For the people.
So that was his response. So he will not be working with Derrick or learning anything from Derrick. Looks like he's going to fully remove himself from the situation. But these are our 3 topics. This is the weekend notes and rumors. Rumor, obviously, in the heavyweight division with Deontay Wilder and Alexander Usyk potentially staging this big fight. Now, I'll say this. I had no clue about this, but this IVS has contacted me about doing some sort of business on an announcement that they're planning on making. Now, I don't know if it's the same announcement, but they did contact me yesterday. Thank the heavens. Always grateful that they respect the work we're putting in over here and our audience, knowing if they get that word out here, with our amazing audience, that word is going to travel. Now, whether or not that word is that this Deontay Wilder and Alexander Usyk fight is official in San Francisco with 150,000 free people, we'll see. We'll see. Can it really be streamed on YouTube? We'll see. I don't want to dream, but the news certainly made me smile. I love what ProBox does and the fact that their fights are on YouTube. It's the most convenient platform there is in the world. I can go from my laptop to my television to my car and not lose anything. And look, I'm being driven. I'm not driving. And you should do the same if you're watching the fight. But the convenience of YouTube, the global reach, they're trying to put 150,000 free seats, allegedly. I think these guys are going to get 150 million views. Hopefully. Just the right promotion. But Wilder has fallen from graces. I don't know that his name is ringing bells like Sunday at 12 o'clock the way that it used to. And Usyk isn't the most popular guy in school. So, this is Turkey Al-Sheikh announcing the news with Canelo. So no second guessing what we're hearing here. Canelo right there, and then he gives Turkey the big thank you hug at the end. Richard Schaefer there on the right.
Champ.
This video already has 2.1 million views. Face of boxing shit.
Wait for us in September, 12th of September. Big fight. And this will be the first card for Canelo promotion. It will be name of Mexico against the world. All the fighters from the team of Canelo against the world. And the champion in the main event in world title, and it will be a surprise in Saudi Arabia, inshallah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Champ.
Shout out Turkey, man. Turkey bagged Canelo, man. He bagged Canelo. He got him locked in. So one more fight after this September fight left on that deal. Let's see. I've been seeing rumors of Chris Eubank. And I'm like, well, that's not a championship fight. So I don't know what Turkey's going to mix up. What he's going to put in, get done there. But I like it. I like it. So this is what we're talking about. We're doing a 3-topic show, as there were, various topics today. And I didn't want to choose which one was the better news to discuss and then end up having a short show. So I'm like, you know what? Let's put them all 3 together. Let's shake things up and take it back to the beginning, back when we used to do multiple topics on a Thursday and then recap the entire week on a Sunday. So, we got some good topics here because I do like the union between Brian Norman Jr. and Derrick James, and I am one that believes Norman can win a world title, especially with a guy like Derrick James. I think he can, do that together. James has the experience. He can get Norman the proper sparring. We questioned that before. They had a lot of young guys in there, you know, and even some of the veterans that they had were not really on that high level. And this is the era that is making that saying very true. Iron sharpens iron. You see Keyshawn, Shakur, Abdullah, Schofield, Devin, Tank, Carlos Adames, Laura, Brian Mendoza, you know, Ryan Garcia. You got to put him in there. These guys are sparring high-level fighters, bro. They're sparring world-class fighters. They're sparring top contenders. They're not cutting corners, sparring, amateurs that are not elites, amateurs that are not Olympians. You know what I mean? Like when Shakur was sparring Keyshawn was an Olympian and a silver medalist. It's different, man. Derrick can level up Norman. And maybe he doesn't stick with him long, but learn something and, test some other people out. I do hear that he is going to be introduced to others. But like I said yesterday, man, if I'm a manager and I'm looking for my fighter to be trained, I'm going to go to my friend first, especially if my friend has the credentials. We as critics, fans of the sport, we sit here and we'll say that James isn't any good anymore. And in fact, he lost to Canelo Alvarez and to Terrence Bud Crawford. Outside of that, he had a champion in Earl Spence that collected 3 belts from 3 champions. He had a champion in Jermell Charlo that, undisputed. Frank Martin is a world title challenger before he parted ways with Derrick. Alicia Baumgartner is doing well defending. Anthony Joshua got a win with him. Ryan got a win with him. So good look for Brian Norman Jr. He is very young, still plenty to learn. And he can learn some of that from Norman. From Derrick James. We'll see. Maybe we can expect more discipline from Norman, who's already self-disciplined. He said it. He runs every day. That's just what he likes to do. But maybe defensive discipline, right? Remembering to keep them hands up. Maybe we can get him to be a little more technically sound under the tutelage of James and just to, calm down a bit. Not that he's overactive or anything like that, but he was lunging in repeatedly with the left hook, telegraphing it. We'll see. I like the union. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. It's going to help with the visibility of the show. It's going to help put this episode in the eyes of people that don't know. We're rocking out every single day. If you guys are going to call in, remember, we are looking for you to tell us who you think will be Canelo's opponent. It's said to be a title opponent. So we'll see what that truly means. Does the person truly have a world title? And what division is that going to be in? Can it be at 60? There are interviews of Canelo and in the past of him saying he's really a middleweight. Can he go down to 60 after the loss to Bud and try to get some belts? Maybe Johnny Beck is going to be stripped, but again, it's supposed to be someone with a title. Maybe the rematch with Laura? Maybe the rematch with Laura is what they're considering. Laura's a little bit on the older side, right? Maybe that'll work. I don't know. A lot of choices, though, for sure. If he's going to stick at 68, that division is wide open. And he just has to pick which guy, whether it's going to be an Mbili, a Hamza Shiraz, Iglesias, who I know that he's already said no to that, but that's because of the timing, right? He's not ready to come back till September. But by then, Iglesias will probably be champion. And maybe Canelo will fight him straight up for the belt versus a vacant. I don't know. I think maybe that 60 possibility isn't as possible since we haven't seen him at 60 in so long. But, you got to consider all things for sure. The Laura fight seems like the best fight, even though we are going to see Adames and Ammo on a ring 6 card. So maybe the winner gets a Willy Wonka ticket at Canelo. A lucky shot? I don't know. Khaled, Indiana. What's up?
Yo, Ness.
Good morning.
Yo, good morning, good morning. All right, man, I'm going to go through each one. With the Nello situation, man, I can see like an M. Billy type vibe. You know what I'm saying? I can see an M. Billy situation. Uh, I think with Nello at this point, it don't matter for me. Whoever he fight, I'm going to watch because I'm just a fan of him and his style. But I do think that the best years of Nello is probably done. Like, if I'm doing it based upon back-to-back fights with Skull and Crawford, everything that he was doing at 160 and at the peak days of 168 is probably over. Hopefully he can have some semblance. I mean, I don't even think that's the right word, but hopefully he can still look like, just somewhat of his old self just to keep the fights entertaining and, things like that. But just how he used to be as far as defensively, how he used to be educated with his jab and just, like the style that he was coming forward in like that calculated way. He's just a little past his prime now, so it's probably done for that. But hopefully he can still kind of give entertaining fights, show a solid skill set. And I think like a guy like Christian and Billy, who's gonna be in front of you? Is it gonna, ask you to pick your feet up and have to cut off the ring? He'll kind of be there. Hopefully, Nello can still have some type of counter punching ability. Be able to catch and shoot, and you know what I'm saying, show some type of education with that jab, and still kind of neutralize guys with the jab. Um, so either way, I'll be watching it. As far as Usyk and Deontay Wilder. Man, I'm not a huge heavyweight guy, but this just sounds like a movie. This just sounds like a massive event. All positive things. So you just hope that they can pull that off just for boxing, heavyweight, American boxing. You got a guy like Deontay Wilder. Hopefully he can come back, bounce. That'll be a hell of a way to go out, a hell of a way to end his career, doing 150,000. You know what I'm saying? That'll be great for Usyk. If like this his last fight, he better check off a guy, everybody from his era, all of his peers, and to do it against 150, man, that'll just be great. You know what I'm saying? And then hopefully they can have a decent undercard. Yeah, bro, you just hope for things like that. You want to see guys get paid properly. Both guys have done things in their long tenure to earn a fight like this and like earn the paydays that they asking for to like a certain degree. You know, Usyk isn't the most popular guy, but he just whooped everybody ass. You know what I'm saying? He just whooped everybody ass. And then Deontay Wilder, only guy that really kind of got in his way was Tyson Fury. You know, he lost to Zhang later, but it was really just Tyson Fury, and you know that kind of took his best. They beat the primes out of each other. You know what I'm saying? So you know, hopefully that'll be a great way to end their careers. As far as Brian Norman, lastly, I respect Derrick James and what he's done in his career. He has made some champions. He's done a lot of great things with Earl Spence, Charlo, just to name a few. But just his style and his like methodology to coaching, from what I've seen, from what I've studied, just don't like it. You know what I'm saying? He don't really teach defense how I think. He don't really be having guys move their head. He kind of teach guys to fight how he fought versus just teaching them the craft and teaching them boxing. You know what I'm saying? Just teaching them, just looking at what they need and just teaching them just the fundamentals and just the proper things to do in the ring. So yes, he is accomplished. I can't take that away from him, but just how he does it, I would like to see Brian Norman just kind of go in a different route. I think a Buddy, a McGirt be good, and then Wade left, but not really left. You know what I'm saying? But I think a guy like Robert Garcia would be good for a guy like Brian Norman. You know what I'm saying? Because he does teach some defensive things over there. He does teach the use of the jab. And Brian Norman will get some quality sparring over there because it's real work over there. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, that's another decorated guy. Um, and man, I think Brian Norman kind of got that style a little bit. He need to learn how to properly come forward as like a shorter guy. He need to learn how to be able to catch and parry shots, and he need to learn how to work off that jab in different ways. Like the Robert Garcia fighters, at least the top guys like a Bam, a Virgil. You know what I'm saying? They all got good educated jabs. You know what I'm saying? They all work off that jab, and that's something that Brian Norman really need to learn how to do. Like he teach him good feints, needs some feints, and he needs some real life head movement, man. He gotta learn how to pick them feet up. Now, like the Mexicans, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes they struggle with that footwork, but I look at guys like Virgil Ortiz with solid footwork, guys like Bam. I'm not sure if that's God gifted or if they really working on that from like what I've seen in their training. That's something that they do work on. So that's something that he definitely need to work on too, like that footwork. You know what I'm saying? Help with them feet, bring them feet together, stepping with them punches. Gotta step with your punches. Guys, aren't stepping with their punches. That's why they be falling all over, off balance, lunging in, reaching in. You gotta take them proper steps, Brian Norman. So yeah, I think a guy like Buddy McGirt or Robert Garcia should also be considered. So yeah, and that's everything, man. Rocha got hurt, so that fucked some shit up with the Rumble today. So I'm
Yeah,
not sure
man.
what the fuck. I'm not
Yeah,
sure
I
what they're
seen
gonna do
that
about that.
news.
Yeah. I don't know what they're gonna do about that. So that was gonna be a decent little. That was gonna be a cool
That
little
was a
Friday little
rematch.
vibe. Hell yeah, that was a good ass fight they had. Like I'll watch this, but. All right, man. Well, we just got to see what the rest of the month hold, man. That kind of fucks some shit up. So, Ness, man. Hey, Ness, real quick. It's a lot of rumbles. Are you doing live fights? Not this weekend, but just all these fights coming up. I know
Yeah,
you.
for
Are you
sure.
doing live
Bro,
fights?
I'm
All
I'm
right.
I mean the Shakur fight got me considering buying a package. I ain't even on front. Cause
Oh,
it's like,
word. All right.
yeah, cause it's like, bro, like I could rock with it if I ain't gotta work. But if I gotta like work, I don't wanna be dealing with, you know what I'm saying, whether it's working or not.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's real shit. That's real shit. So, okay. Hey, yo, Ness, man. You have an excellent weekend, my guy, man.
You
And then,
too.
yeah, that's my call, brother.
Let's go. We got Bo Rogers. What up?
What's going on? What's going on? Yeah. Uh, I like the Usyk and Wild. I done said that before. I think that this the opportunity that Wilder need. I believe he really gonna take this fight serious. I think he's gonna train to his fullest ability. He gonna do everything he needs to do to try to get that shot off. I think he can get Usyk. Usyk older, he just slowed down, and like Wilder got to do is get lucky one good time, and I believe he can pull it off. So, and then if they giving away the tickets and all that, that's a good thing. You know, Wilder is a good name. Said really wanted to. He really don't. They really don't have to do that. They could take that fight to Vegas. Wilder got a big enough name here in America where they could sell that fight no matter how they wanted to do it. But I like that fight. Um, Brian Norman working with Derrick James and how his dad feel about it. I would tell his dad on some real shit. This is a good time in life where you could learn from what's going on and listen to what other people telling you. Don't get in your own way. This is a good time to work behind Derrick James and learn some shit. You can learn. You can be right there in the corner and don't have no problem taking advice from Derrick James. He better than you at this right here. But it ain't about him being better than you. You still know your son. And Derrick, you could probably, tell him some things that's going on in the fight that you can learn. And then there you can probably go back to the being this, but don't just get mad at the world and just say fuck everything and I ain't getting ready to be second fiddle. Cause no, sometimes you can lead from behind. You don't have to always be in the front of the pack. I like to let people go ahead and then I capitalize off the mistakes I'm seeing them make. That's why I'm successful in life. And don't even have to brag about that shit. And what was the other? Canelo? Say they want to announce this now because they saw how Benavidez took the date in May, so they want to get ahead of it. And but we don't know who he gonna fight. But this sets up. What if Benavidez want to fight somebody too in September? They might have to go against each other. And depending on who their opponent is, I don't know if Canelo can really outsell Benavidez anymore if they fighting the right people. If this fight be successful in May with Benavidez and Zordo, he might really take them dates over with. But I believe they just wanted to get ahead. And again, Canelo, they'll do some stupid shit like go fight over there in Saudi Arabia and shit. And people really ain't following Canelo. They don't believe in Canelo like that no more. Who he gonna fight unless he fight Terence Crawford the second time?
How you gonna say
He
they
ain't
don't
ready to do
believe in
shit.
Canelo when I showed the video got 2.1 million views in 12 hours, bro? You sound silly.
Those numbers, it's different things happen. Different
Man,
things
that's
happen with
people
numbers.
that care. That's what that is. That's
I
all
mean,
that
I
matter.
think he still got his fan base, but you don't want to pay for him on pay per view no more, do you? You don't want to do that. You ain't supporting him enough where you force Canelo to have to get off of the pay per view model and go work with Turkey
Bruh,
because y'all
but
want to buy.
before Canelo gets off, remember that other dude, the little dude, gonna get off first. Until if that ain't happen, Canelo ain't getting off. And truth
Well,
be
I
told,
think
why do you even care? That's Turkey Bill.
yeah, but I just think it's getting ready. It's coming time where you have these showdowns. Get ready to see. Benavidez is trying to get the spot, so if he already took the Mayday. Then he wanted to probably gonna want to do the September date too, but they want to get past the May date first. So Canelo come out in January and say he'll be back in September. That's all I'm saying. So that's gonna set up a showdown. That's what I'm trying to see. Is it going to be a showdown? I don't know. I'm just throwing something out there. I don't know. Will it be a showdown? Will Benavidez want both dates, or is Canelo still man enough to command that date or have a new is it time for the passing of the torch, and that's what I'm looking to see. So I don't know what they still might be still supporting Canelo. I don't know, but depending on who he fight, because I know if I got to pick between seeing Canelo and seeing Benavidez on the same day, it all depends on who they fight. And really, there ain't nobody I want to see Canelo fight. But it's people I like to see. I want to see Benavidez, really, no matter who he get in there with, 'cause I know what he gonna do. Canelo go in there bullshitting. So it's about the product, yeah. So it's just what it's come down to, the showdown. Who gonna get that date? Is Canelo still viable enough to handle that, or is it time for Benavidez to take the torch? That's all. That's all. I ain't got much
But
more to
what
say
but
about it.
what date exactly you talking about? Because them shits is gone already. Like Benavidez got May, Canelo got September. It's already locked in. So what
No,
what
see,
what you talking about?
where Canelo fighting at?
What?
Where he fighting at?
It's Middle East.
So if he fight in the Middle East, Vegas is wide open where Benavidez want to
Yeah,
be at.
okay. Name a fight. Okay. I get you. I ain't trying to argue. I'm trying to just move past. So name a fight that Benavidez could fight in September after already moving up to cruiserweight and beating Zurdo. Who's he gonna fight in September that's gonna be bigger than the Canelo fight?
Well, I heard that he was talking about. Well, that's what I'm saying. If he fights Zordo in May, depending how
He
good
is
that fight
fighting
is,
Zordo in May. So
yeah, I'm
let's
talking
go
about
off that.
depending how good it do. That's what I'm going off of. Depending on how good it do. Because now the Mexican, he getting ready to get the whole Mexican blood now. If he do what he's supposed to do, he could probably come back down and fight. Better be. I would rather see that fight in September than to see Canelo fighting I don't know who Canelo gonna fight.
Okay, but that's
If he
my
ain't fighting
point.
somebody,
That's my point. You telling me that David versus Arthur Better Beef is going to be bigger
uh,
than Canelo versus Hamza Shiraz?
I would rather see that more.
I ain't asked
I think
that.
it'll be the
I ain't asked that.
I think
I ain't
to
asked
me, to
that.
me,
I ain't asked
to me,
that. What
I
you
think,
rather see and what you think is bigger is two different things.
well,
I'd rather eat steak, but fish is healthier.
think, yeah, I think that the fight with David is a bigger fight, no matter what. I think David bigger than Canelo now. I don't want to
Oh
see
man, I
Canelo
gotta
lose.
move on, bro. You wild. You
Well,
don't even want to have a
well,
civilized
it's just-
conversation. I love you though, man.
I
Thank
mean,
you for
it's
calling
like
in.
but
All right. Fart face, Alex Vega.
Can you hear me?
We hear you.
Hey, good morning. Good afternoon, some. Appreciate the new this topic, this layer topic, huh? Got three different topics. Guess I'll start with the Canelo's return. Whoop de fucking do. Don't really give a shit. Don't care at all. Um Canelo's obviously been on the
Wait, he's
decline.
gonna fight a champion.
Oh my god.
You
Does that
don't
mean a
care
current
off
champion,
of
a former
surgery?
champion? Who
Yeah, no,
knows?
no.
Like
The wording is title, right? It's title.
title. So that doesn't mean. So he said he's fighting for a title. He's fighting a champion. He's fighting a current world champion. He's fighting for a world title. I mean, it could be a regional title. It could be a new made up
Regional
title.
title.
Yeah, yeah, bro.
Bro,
Like
come
yeah,
on.
Canelo is a cool fighter now. I think the mystique was how good he can
Look, the
be.
wording
He got
is
to the
Turkey
top.
Al-Sheikh.
Uh,
I'm sorry. Turkey Al-Sheikh
uh,
confirmed it as a big world title fight with a surprise opponent to be announced.
oh my god, I'm biting my nails.
Exactly. It could be Bivol
So
rematch.
excited.
It could be Bivol
Yeah,
rematch.
right.
It could be
Yeah,
it could be
right.
David. It could be Hamza after he fights him Billy, or Hamza after he gets the WBO in a vacant title fight with Diego Pacheco. Like, yo, this is what I'm saying. Y'all be wilding, bro. To diminish this announcement as if everybody comes back after a loss and surgery and goes for a world title. Like, and
Why
actually,
why can't they just announce who they want him to face? This winner, that what the fuck is the point of this gay ass teaser?
because
Like, just say what you're trying to
but it's
do.
not really a teaser. The division's got to develop at 68. They got to
So
develop
why don't you
everything.
so so to help your other shows, right? Why don't you say the like you said, Shiraz and Billy winner? Why don't you say that? That way, that adds more focus to that show, puts the higher stakes, more involvement
Man,
from
yo,
the
fight
fans.
fans only know how to complain. Like, oh well, why
You
you ain't say
goddamn, I'm
Canelo
not
was gonna
complaining.
do
I'm
this,
I'm telling you
bro?
why I
At least
don't
he's
care.
bringing you back Canelo in a world title fight instead of giving
Yeah,
you
we'll see.
Canelo in a tune-up.
Canelo could retire for all I care. He holds up
Lord,
divisions.
Lord,
He
Lord.
causes all this attention because people know his name. They still can't believe he's a redheaded Mexican. It was a fun ride, man. He was a great fighter. Those days are diminishing as we speak. He's going to be a whole year out the ring. Like I said, physically, he's been slowing down. The upper body movement's been gone. It's not like, oh, he's been hurt. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, he's a cool fighter now. I have nothing against his career. It was a great career. I enjoyed watching the fights up until past couple years. So personally, I don't give a shit. If you care, congratulations, man. Enjoy. Pay the 40 to I don't know $100 they'll charge, and yeah, go from there.
Nasty
Salute
work.
to the whoever gets the but kudos to whoever gets the fight because obviously it's a golden ticket, like you stated earlier. Usyk versus Wilder, man. We talk about it, right? Usyk fighters take on tough fights when they have a gimme, they deserve it. But damn, Wilder really? I mean, whatever. It'll be free on YouTube allegedly. Um, the idea sounds really cool to have like a music festival. They want to get up to, like you said, 150,000 people, giving out mostly free tickets. I looked into this guy, his other quote unquote events. He has an event coming up in Resorts World, beautiful hotel in Vegas. Um, with no fighters announced. They've done like a documentary on one fighter. It was like Bill Binskin or something like that, who pro debuted in York Hall, which is like 700 people, 700 seats. His pro debut, they did like behind the scenes. So that guy, he's a fighter they sponsor or sign to them, or however it may be worded. So it's tough to tell where this is going to go. He said he was involved in the what was it the Times Square event with Turkey Al Sheikh and Sela. He also was in charge of one of the NFL games broadcasted in Brazil, allegedly. And he's done work with soccer clubs, football clubs, they say over there, most other parts of the world, with Manchester United and Liverpool, which are two of the biggest sports organizations in the world. So, with all those connections, this guy seems to know what he's doing, allegedly. And if he's able to pull this off, you would hope it'll bring big time boxing back. I just worry: is this the right matchup? Is this really going to get it done? Usyk is one of the most accomplished fighters we've had in most recent years, and Wilder was the most accomplished heavyweights as well. So on paper, if I'm reading Box Rec, if I'm reading a book, and they talk about these fighters, it's going to be pretty exciting. However, when you watch the product that Deontay Wilder has given you in the past few years, I think it's a little bit embarrassing to put him in there and just wish and hope and pray and close your eyes and hope when you open it that Deontay Wilder's landed a big right hand and Alexander Usyk is struggling to get up. But I know a lot of people, they believe prayer will help them in things. They believe if you write it down, it'll help them. Sure, when maybe when you're directly involved, you have that belief, you can probably get it done. But when you're putting your faith in other people, you have no control, no influence as a just one person. Good luck with that. So we'll see how this event goes, if it happens. Because I remember beforehand at the end of the year, they were talking about doing it in April. This is July 11th, a specific date. Wow, look at that. You could actually put specific dates and also an actual possible headliner and say, this is what we're trying to do. And you get better chatter than, yeah, Team Canelo versus the world. Yeah, world champion. Everyone fucking, I don't know, girls flash your titties, guys check out your stacks, whatever. In regards to Norman versus Derrick James, not the unity I expected. I I don't know what I was hoping. Derrick James is an accomplished trainer. I mean, look, he's had two unified champions. He's had contenders. Well, actually, 3 unified champions. 4 if you want to include AJ, even though he didn't have the belts with him, and currently Alicia Bumgarner. He has a style. You talked about defense. With Derrick, it just seems he's like a wall block kind of guy. He wants you to stand, in a certain range and kind of catch shots. And you got to be pretty twitchy, if you ask me personally, to be able to pull that off. You got to be quick with the hands to catch and shoot. To stand. You got to be gritty. Wow, Norman's definitely gritty. It'll be interesting. It's not a horrible connection between the two, but we'll see how it works out. It'd be interesting to see who they choose as the first opponent. If Norman, how he's going to deal with possibly his dad not being around. That was probably the most disappointing thing I heard. Just I was surprised that Senior that they said Senior was going to take a back role. And then because, like you said, there's one loss. It's a learning experience for both of them. You would hope you could only see as they're both going to get better from, you fought Devin Haney, one of the best boxers in the world, a guy that, we've been having some talks. I've heard someone say it. He could possibly be in the talks for fight of the decade in another 5 years. Honestly, he's undisputed. He's got championship belts in 3 different weight classes. And for them to make that decision, like, hey, you're going to step down, Dad. I'm going to move on. And then obviously the dad's going to take it like, yo, it's one loss. I got you here. We got you a big time fight where we're here. We show we belong on this level. And I got to take a step back. And I could understand why he's offended. But when you're progressing, right, when you're trying to be the best you can be, you know when to be a leader and you know when to follow. And it's just disappointing that his father's taking this approach within the professional side of it. Personally, I 100% get it, but if you want to be the best trainer you could be, maybe you should have maybe you should have took that time and suggested, we need to bring in someone else. Let's move our camp somewhere. Let's have a strong second. Let's go to Dallas and work with Derrick James. Let's go to, someone mentioned Robert Garcia. Let's go out there, hold camp. Let's move there for 4 months and see how we can get better. Or let's take a call out and see who would welcome us. So at the end of the day, pride, man. Ego. Ego is a word that Norman Jr. used a lot. And if he believes ego got in his way of his victory, you can see where he gets it from, which is his father. Which, after those first 3-4 rounds, I thought he gave pretty good advice. But it was just the moment, honestly, it seemed too big. And but he showed he could learn, in my opinion. But appreciate the time. Thank you for the show. And I look forward to what everyone else has to say.
Yeah, man. We looking forward to some of that Border Wars footage, man. Want to see the Alex Vega improvements, you know what I'm saying? Border Wars, March 21st. Hosted by the School of Hard Knocks in Castleberry, Florida, Orlando. Shout out to Jason Galarza, coach of Omari Jones, signed the Matchroom. He's going to be fighting on the Raymond Murataya card. You're going to be fighting out of his gym. You feel me? Yeah, you feel me. Gary C. What it do? If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. It's going to help with the visibility of the show. And if
you coming through?
I hear you perfectly.
Shit.
You with us, champ?
Oh, there you are. Hey, first time caller, man. I'm relatively new to the show. Love the show, man. It's become part of my morning routine. I don't know how long I've been looking for a good boxing show or podcast, and here you are.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you, man. I know there's a lot of people to choose from.
Not a lot of good ones.
Oh, man. Well, glad I fell on the good list.
Hey, I won't be long, man. I'll get out of your proverbial hair. You were talking about the Canelo opponents, and the one that really made most sense for me, and I said it in the chat, and you kind of skimmed it, but is Eubank. They both have massive followings in separate countries. Both legacy names.
Only reason I downplayed it or like you said skimmed over it is because it doesn't fit the announcement. He's not a world title fight, right? Like the guy is supposed, according to the wording. Let me go back to it. Turkey Al-Ashi confirmed it as a big world title fight. So unless it's for a vacant, I don't know. And he says with a surprise opponent. So I
don't think either has. I don't think there's a vacant title to be had there. I didn't see that announcement when I called in.
There's 3 vacants right now. The WBO is vacant. The IBF is vacant. The WBC is vacant. The WBA.
Okay.
The WBA technically is vacant, but we all know they're going to upgrade Resendiz. He's the interim, so he'll be upgraded. And Chris and Billy is the interim for the WBC. But, they might go the money route because Canelo is number 1. They might order him to fight Canelo for the belt. To try to get Canelo
Billy fought since that draw?
To Leicester?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think he's scheduled, though. Let me see if he's got anything. He hasn't
seems
fought.
Like running that back might be pop.
He hasn't fought since that draw, but I did see his name in the headlines for another potential fight.
Huh.
But he certainly has not fought since the draw.
But I just think, you're right. It's not a title fight, but it could be for a vacant. I mean, that'd be a nice little card up turkey sleeve. But I mean, Eubanks just makes a lot of sense from like a global standpoint on the sport. I mean, Eubanks is a legacy name in the UK. Canelo is a legacy name in Mexico and North America. And, Eubanks called him out several times over the last few years. And stylistically, I think it makes sense. And timing, it makes sense. Eubanks coming off 2 fights with Ben. Canelo's coming off the loss to Crawford. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that kind of fall in place with that.
Yeah, for sure. Listen, Eubank has been linked to Canelo for years, bro. So, not my first choice. I'm definitely going to do a boo video, Canelo Eubank, boo. But I'm not mad overall, only because it's been talked about for years. And he's coming off the surgery. So if he wants a tune-up, who am I to, try to deny him that tune-up?
Yeah. Hey, last thing on Wilder and Usyk. I hope Wilder proves me wrong, man. I'm really rooting for the guy. I think those 2 fights with Fury, I don't think he left out of there the same guy, or 3 fights.
Yeah.
I just don't. When you have these wars, I mean, part of you stays in there and never leaves with you again. And I kind of feel like, those fights with Fury, may have been it, because even Wilder's last fight, he didn't quite look like he did before Fury got a hold of him. So I hope I'm wrong. I mean, I would love for Wilder to come out and get something done here, but it just seems too easy to say that Usyk's going to get in there and get him out of there, in the first 6.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, can Usyk get that big guy out of there in 6? I mean, look, Wilder just hasn't been the same in so long. That last fight was nasty, man. That was nasty. Technically, he just doesn't, I don't know, bro. I don't know.
I agree. All right, champ. Love the show.
Appreciate
Talk to you sometime down the road.
All right. I hope, man, listen, for boxing's sake, the best thing for boxing is for Wilder to knock this guy's block off. Build that all-American story. Give everybody that inspiration that when you're counted out, you can still win in boxing. So, yeah, from that standpoint, that would be great. He would inspire millions, and he would go down in history. One win, one right hand that lands properly, and he changes the entire conversation of his career. He goes from 1-time champ to 2-time champ and unified. It becomes the four kings all over again. He lost 2 times to Fury, drawed once. Fury loses twice to Usyk. Usyk beats AJ twice, but Wilder gets that one win. That one win. That would be amazing. That would be amazing because, Tyson Fury is like your Tio, but he also beat a king, right? Because he beat Vlad when Vlad was, essentially in his prime, then beats one of the younger kings in his own era, which is Wilder, but again loses to Usyk. Hopefully fights AJ down the line. We need that story. Those four guys do need the fight, especially if they're gonna give us this Wilder Usyk fight that we didn't ask for. Then Fury and AJ need the fight. They all need to fight each other so we can just see. I don't want to say all need to fight each other. Now, if Wilder does beat Usyk, then it becomes okay, they all need to fight each other. Because Wilder, again, he can change the entire conversation with one right hand. And it's the heavyweight division. It would make headlines. Again, headlines for a guy that people consider to be done. And I'm sure, where's my historians at? Can I get a historian to call in? I'm sure there's some older heavyweights, some listings, some Muhammad Ali, some maybe fucking George Foreman or Larry Holmes. Somebody, even Evander, I think, can be thrown in there. One of those guys was old already and got a win they shouldn't have got. And I know Foreman did for over more, but that ain't what I'm talking about here. You know what I mean? I mean on a higher level. So it would be beautiful, man. Again, that's what would put boxing where it needs to be in the conversations it needs to be. These heavyweights need to be moving the needle again in America for boxing to get, water cooler conversation. Wilder knocks out Usyk with all his accomplishments. Man, that's going to be the talk of the town. It has to be. It has to be. Especially if it's the way that they're saying, 150,000 people, it's on YouTube. Man, that would be huge. Huge. Demo, what up?
Yo, what's going on, man?
Hey, man, good morning.
Good morning. 3 topics, man. Let's get into it. First one, Usyk Wilder. I like the whole logistics of what they're trying to do. I hope that whole thing works out because, like you said, YouTube is like one of the biggest platforms that's available to everybody. So if that works out, that's gonna be fire. And we know we know looking at Wilder, he ain't been the best on the eyes his last few fights. I heard you say that last fight was nasty, which it kind of was, but at the same time, for me watching it, I feel like he was trying to use his jab and shit like that. I think he need to go back to being the athletic Wilder in that fight to beat Usyk. And his motto has always been there. You got to be perfect for 12. He only got to be perfect for 1. So if he can land that shot, we already know he's a big name and he's like our USA darling star, if you will. So if he can pull that off, he back on top of the world, as far as the boxing world go, because everybody counted him out and said his career was over. He go out and beat the guy that's perceived to be one of the best heavyweights, in the game, or probably the best heavyweight in the game now, because he done beat down to everybody. If he can beat that guy, then he gonna be known as one of the best. You know what I'm saying? Even without having all of the best skills and losing the fights that he did. To the Canelo thing. Jaime and Resendez, that's already confirmed or no?
No.
Okay, because my thought is maybe it could be Resendez, but I'm thinking maybe Turkey. You know, Turkey like to do them super cars. So if it's not confirmed to be on any other car, maybe Turkey takes that because that's part of Canelo's stable. You take and put that on a car on that same car with Canelo. So you got a title fight with him and Resendez. Then WBC been known as We Back Canelo. So whoever's in line for that belt, which I think you said was in Billy, he'll be the one that fight Canelo, and maybe they throw Pacheco and Hamza on there too, so you get all 3 titles, or you get 3 titles out of the 4 on that card, and somehow maybe they put the other one on there, make it a big card with that. But whichever one he chooses is cool with me. I don't really have an issue with that. As you said, over 2 million views on the video show that a lot of people still want to see Canelo regardless. You know what I'm saying? He still got the face regardless with the loss to Crawford. So I want to see like a big mega card like they've been doing. I think if they do that, he'll probably bring back the whole visuals that he was doing and shit like that, which I hope. And then with the whole Norman Derrick James thing, everybody's been kind of, we've all pretty much called in and gave our take on who we thought. I said Derrick James wouldn't be bad for him, but I think Buddy would have let him use a little more athleticism. But the more I sit back and look, I'm thinking, I think it was Khaled that called in first that said that he don't teach defense. It's not that he don't teach defense. He teach more hands up, like Vegas said, hands up, catch and shoot in front of you kind of defense. So Norman is one of those traditional style. He is athletic, but he's more traditional with his hands up. So I think that'll be a good tandem between the two. And the one thing that I haven't heard nobody say, because I like to pay attention to the little details. Like I told you before, with him and his dad, they had the whole little spiel with the old coach. The coach was
Leave
saying
it
you
open
needed
if
to
you
get
want to.
somebody in
You're
there.
going to go.
What's going on, Star? He was
Good
talking about the
morning.
whole thing with the dad. They had the little fallout with the other coach. Coach was saying he needed to get somebody else in the corner. And then they let that guy go or whatever the case was. So now I went back and I need to send the video to you when I find it, but it made sense. Norman Sr. seems to be one of them guys that foreshadow shit, because he went on there and said he's not gonna play backseat to somebody, but looking at it from that side, it looked like he's being bitter. But at the same time, I went back and heard Derrick James. I want to say it was about Earl and his dad or somebody. I'm gonna have to find it to be specific on it. But Derrick James said he don't like to have a secondary coach. So I don't think that Norman Sr. really had a choice. You feel me? Like Derrick James not the type to have a backup coach. He made that clear. If he can't get full attention from the fighter, he don't want to be working with the fighter. So I think that might have been something that they might have discussed, and then Norman tried to get ahead of it, going on the internet saying, "Oh, I'm not gonna, be part of this shit." Because you could look at it as him being bitter, or you could look at it as him having no choice. But I think he ain't had no choice in it, because Derrick James is a no nonsense type of guy, which that's why I think the tandem will work even better, because we saw the video of Ryan in there doing videos and shit, and you seen Derrick James didn't really like that shit. He'll put out little clips and shit every so often, but all the media in there, he don't really like that. That's the same way as Junior. So I think they'll be perfect together. They real quiet workman type of dudes. So I feel like that's gonna be the best choice for him. But I mean, I think in all of these topics, all of this shit can end up being fire shit. So I just want to see all 3 of them get back in the ring, Canelo, Wilder, and Junior. So we'll kind of see where that goes. You know what I'm saying? But that's pretty much all I got. Don't let them forget the push up time today, because we've been missing it a little bit. I know some dudes in the chat gonna probably not like that, but